Welcome everyone to a quick tutorial on using Google Forms in the classroom. First, you need to open your browser to the Google Form homepage. Once there, you will see a variety of options. You can select to either create a blank form, which is here, or you can choose a pre-made template from the list, which are located in education, personal, workplace, etc. So, let's go ahead and choose a blank Google form and start from scratch. Click the plus sign under blank form. Now that you've created a blank form, you must give it a title. To give your form a title, you must double-click on the Untitled Form box at the top. Go ahead and double-click that and give your form a title. Given the form a title, it's time to create the questions. The thin vertical box on the right side of the screen has several options to choose from. The plus sign allows you to add another question to the form. The capital T and the smaller capital T allow you to add a title and a description to the form. The box with mountains and the box with a play symbol allow you to add images and videos to your questions. And the final option is the equal sign, which allows you to break your form into sections, i.e. parts or anything like that. Before you add your first question, let's review the types of questions available for use. If you click on the plus sign, it will add a question to your form. Once you've added the question to your form, you can select the drop-down menu arrow next to the word multiple choice to see the types of questions you can put on your form. The first type is a short answer. That's good for students that only need to add 1 or 2 words, put their name on their paper, write 1 sentence, very short answer. Then students can choose to write you can choose to ask students to write a paragraph. That's for extended response questions, routine writing, having them explain their thinking, anything you want them to write a lot. Then you can choose multiple choice questions, which are good for students to see wrong answers, but only to be able to select one choice to answer the question. Then there's checkboxes, which are good for survey questions, having more than one right answer on an assessment, and things like that. Then you have a drop-down menu, which you can use similar to this, where they can drop down and select the option that they want. There's a linear scale, which is good for rating systems, multiple choice grids, and then you can add the date and time on your sections as well. I think it's time to add our first question now. Let's add a multiple choice question. So go up in your drop-down menu and select multiple choice. A question box will appear where you can click on the question section and add the question to your quiz. In your question, you can click on the option buttons to add your response answers. Added all of your options that you want to add, you can look down at the bottom of the question box and you can decide if you want to discard that question, duplicate that question, or if you want to make that question required. If you want that question to be required on the quiz to be graded, you must select the little circle and it must be highlighted in the color purple. I'm going to add a few more questions to our quiz to practice using all of the features on Google Forms. I'm going to select another question and I'm going to have the students create a paragraph answer explaining how they determined a reasonable estimate for 456 plus 231. The questions I'm going to add are going to be in a different section. They're going to be for a reflection for my students, so I'm going to hit the equal sign button in our control bar, and it's going to create another section for my quiz. So the top section is where the students actually take the quiz and they answer the 2 questions. The bottom section is going to be a reflection piece. In this section, I'm going to add 2 questions by hitting my plus sign in my control bar. The first question I'm going to add is a linear scale question. It's going to be a scale rating based on their understanding and the rubric that we use in class from 1 to 4. I ask my students to rate their confidence for understanding adding whole numbers. I've chosen the numbers 1 through 4 using the drop-down menus. And then I've labeled what number 1 stands for and what number 4 stands for so my students understand what each score means. I've chosen to make this question required so all students must answer it. Created all the questions on my Google quiz that I would like to create. I can scroll back up to the top, and there are some options that you have from here. The first option is to click the paint palette, which allows you to change the color of the form or even add a picture. If you change the color, the back will change. If you want to change it and make it into a picture, you can click the little mountain button once you've selected the color palette. This will bring up a box which allows you to choose different backgrounds, and it will also change it by clicking on it. After that, you can preview what the students will see by clicking the little eyeball. That will bring up a quiz, a live quiz, to show you what the students will actually see when they take the quiz. It will show them that the questions marked with a red asterisk are required, and it will show you all the questions. In order to move on to the next section, the reflection piece, all students must complete the first 2 questions. Then they should click next, answer the final question, and then they're to hit submit at the end of the quiz. Selecting the settings wheel can allow you to change settings such as restricting the form to certain users. In our case, Prince George's County Public Schools users. It'll ask you if you want to collect the email address of the person, limit each person to 1 response. You can show a progress bar on how much more you need to complete until you're finished. Shuffle the questions if you want all the kids to have different questions at different times, or you can have a link to submit another response if it is that type of Google form that you've created. And the last thing is you can make it a quiz and assign point values in order to be graded. Once students submit their quiz, you can click on the Responses tab, and it will open a new box where you will be able to view student responses. Unfortunately, I don't have any responses in my quiz right now, but they break them up individually or as a whole group. In case you would like a Google sheet of those responses, you can create a spreadsheet by clicking on the yellow cross, the green cross. That will create a new spreadsheet which will open in your Google Drive. You can click create and it will send you to a new window where the responses will be recorded on a Google Sheet. Using Google Forms in the classroom is really awesome. I tend to use my Google Forms for exit tickets, spelling tests, parent information sheets, student surveys. I even use it for my hall pass and bathroom and library book sign-out sheets. I hope you enjoy this tutorial and you understand how to use Google Forms.